There's like whips. Like when they talk about whips. I'm sorry, do you realize how crazy that is to hit a child? I cannot get over the fact that they sold sticks. Somebody's job was to make sticks that they used to hit children. I hate this man. If you're watching this, I hate you. And I can't believe he has my same last name, Mr. Amwa. I hate you. I don't even hate anybody in my life, but you, this man, I hate you. I've been told that my personality, I will marry a white man.
For the people that say I'm too loud, that sometimes I do too much, I'm here to shake tables. I'm here to cause a little chaos. I'm here to prove you right on They Say I'm Too Loud.
I feel like I need a jingle. Hello everybody. My name is Nubuke and welcome to a new episode of They Say I'm Too Loud. In today's episode, we are going to talk about how many people say that I'm too African or I'm too Western. I'm like an Oreo. What is an Oreo, we ask? So an Oreo, like the snack Oreos, like, oh my gosh, I made Oreo ice cream to bring Oreo ice cream and I didn't even bring it. But I have Oreo ice cream, okay? Visualize Nubuke in the kitchen with a machine making Oreo ice cream. Oreo is a black cookie with a white filling. And oftentimes, people are called Oreos because you might be black on the outside, but secretly on the inside, not secretly, on the inside, you're supposed to be white. And I find that, depending on the circles that you're in, you can be called an Oreo, and I've been called an Oreo many a time. I've been told that my personality, I will marry a white man. Now, I don't even know what that means. Actually, I know what they're trying to imply. They're trying to say that my character is not the character of the blacks. So I thought that in today's episode, we can actually unpack that. Because it's looking like I'm not blending in any of the spaces that I'm going in. Context? I grew up in Ghana. Growing up in Ghana is a very fascinating place to grow up in because the TV that I consumed, if I wasn't watching soap operas on Viasat 1, I was watching Disney Channel. And so I grew up in Ghana, but a lot of the content that I was absorbing was really American content. And I remember I had this phase of my life where my cousins who lived in America would come to Ghana, and when I'm talking to them, like my accent has to switch into an American accent. I don't know if that happened to anybody. My accent would switch from Ghanaian to American, so they could be saying something, they'll be like, oh yeah, and we went to the mall and it was like so great, and I'll be like, yeah, we went to the mall and it was so great. Something like that. Now obviously as the years have passed, my American accent has gotten way better, might I add. So if anybody's looking to cast somebody from the valley, I'm like totally available to do that. So in prepping for this episode, I was talking to my producer about, and guys, I promise I actually have a producer. You know when people say this thing and then you turn the camera and there's nobody there? There's somebody, I promise. Can you say something loudly so people know that I'm not?
Hi, I'm the producer.
I hope you heard that. There's somebody behind the camera. But in prepping for this, I was asking, what kind of shows did people watch growing up? And I'm kind of embarrassed because I was like watching Hannah Montana, Shake It Up, Ant Farm, Victorious. Like, I have some of these episodes and the lines in the episodes like in my head rent free. Like there was this episode that is stuck in my head, and it's a line that Miley Cyrus said in one of the episodes, and she goes, I'm gonna get my goggles. It was like something to do with Justin, and she was just, it's an iconic line, okay? And I really hope there's somebody out there in the world who remembers her saying that. Nevertheless, apparently there's so many shows that I missed watching growing up in Ghana, because when I did put on TV, I was listening to my soap operas. So Storm Over Paradise, anybody remember Ima and Nicholas? Yeah, that's a love story right there. In the Name of Love, that's when I realized best friends can betray you and try and steal your man. Yup. That was from In the Name of Love. There's this show, another one, and it's even on Netflix today. It's with the three brothers, and they had a farm. It was three brothers. They went to live with three sisters or something. They had a ranch. Anybody? Please put it in the comments if you guys remember like the soap opera. That was a show. Like I just want to meet a soap opera writer. I would love to work on a soap. If anybody is casting a Ghana telenovela, please do that, because there have actually been so many soaps that are being retranslated in Ghana into like languages like Tree, for example.
There are lots of them.
Kunkumbagia. There's a show called Kunkumbagia, and it's being translated. I just think telenovelas are iconic, and my dream is to be in a telenovela. But apparently there's so much of like growing up in Ghana that I missed out on simply because like I put on a different channel. Bear in mind, I got all of these stations, but I was so glued to DSTV and so glued to channel 303, 302, 301, and 307. That's all. 7 was Nickelodeon, right?
Was it 6?
It better not have been CBBS that I just quoted.
Yeah, CBBS was 307.
Very good. So apparently I was watching CBBS as well. 303 was my priority. But apparently there were shows like Kantanka, Katarka, Kantata. There's a show called Kantata. Side note, my school went to the Kantanka workshop. Kantanka is a guy who's like an engineer, also a pastor. There's a guy who does multiple things, and he also does cars. And he's a pastor.
With Jerry Kills.
With Jerry Kells, some light-skinned Ghanaian dude with Jerry Kells, and he's a jack of all trades, anything from a pastor to a car maker. Like the guy be doing stuff. So sorry, there's a show called Kantanta that was very good. There's Efiera. First of all, I'm aware. If anybody is judging the way I'm saying these words, just blame it on the fact that I literally speak a different language. Efiera, that's house seller, right?
House owner. Yeah, like
House owner. Landlord. Duh. I understand Tree. Things we do for love. And lastly, Home Sweet Home. And the reason I know Home Sweet Home is for 2 reasons. There is a fashion icon in this world. Her name is Efua Rida. She starred in Home Sweet Home. Then Home Sweet Home was actually produced by Revel Films, who also produced Accra Medic. And if anybody remembers my era of being an actor, I was an actor, guys. I will say this every single chance that I get because I've just been cast in another movie. Shh, don't tell anybody, because I actually don't know when we're filming or what the date is or what the name of the movie is. All I know is I've been cast, and we thank God you will see me on your screens very soon. But anyway, the people that produced my TV show where I was a doctor, very competent, if you've watched it, also produced Home Sweet Home. So there's just a lot, and there's a big part of Ghana culture that I feel like every day I'm learning that I did not grow up in. For starters, I went to multiple schools growing up. I went to Nursery Home Science. I went to Bluebells, Faith Montessori. I went to Mary Mother. I went to Merton. I went to University Primary. I went to Tema International School. I did vacation school at Techie Kids. I did vacation school with Sir J. I did vacation school with the one in Laboni. There's some school be in Laboni, and it was like right opposite Vidya bookstore. I went to that one as well for classes to be able. I've been to school, so I've been around the block where I've gotten to experience, different kinds of people, and apparently I fit into the box of being an Oreo. And I cannot actually tell you why I went to so many of these schools, but I went to a lot of schools growing up. I honestly need to have a chat with my mom because I don't know. I don't think I like them. I don't think they were the right fit. Also, I'll give you an example. I'm so scared of actually talking because I just feel like every single story that I have, somebody's gonna be like, "You're a DB." Now, what is this DB thing? DB apparently is. How would you even define DB?
Well, DB is first of all Dagaba. So.
Okay, very good. I'm gonna take the definition that I think is correct from what they said, which is a DB is a cool kid. Yeah.
Your dad takes care of you, so your Dadaba.
Oh, Dadaba.
Yeah, rich
Your
enough
dad
that
takes
your dad
care
does
of
everything
you.
for you.
First of all, that's so sexist because first of all, everything that I own is because my mom takes care of me. Can we give a shout out to all the single moms out there? Clap for them, man. So I'm not actually a Dadaba technically. If you break it apart, I'm a Mama Ba.
Yes.
Period. So I'm actually an MB. And that's what I'm gonna do next year. Get my master's in business administration. Not economics. I'm gonna get an MBA. That's what the A freaking stands for. So I'm a mama. I struggled a little bit growing up because I just found that I've struggled. Let me not even say I struggled, like it's not something I fight every day today. But I find that a lot of people have an idea of what a kid should be and the boxes that people should be put in. And I struggled a lot when I was growing up because I live in a household where my independence was encouraged. So there was this time where I switched schools. I think I was going to Faith Montessori, and at the time that I was going to school, it was divided into like 2 levels: the Montessori creche kids school and like the adult school, and they were in different locations. And so the Montessori was in a very good-ish location. We could commute there very easily, but the big school was like very far away, and so I wouldn't have been able to go to the big school. So the conclusion was, let's pull Nubuke out of Faith and let's put her in another school, a Catholic school. I don't know if this is relevant to the story, but I know that many schools that are very religious are very strict. So I remember, because it was like the transition would be easier if she was in this religious school, so she didn't have to like cut and like leave all her friends. So I go to this school, and there were 2 possible outcomes. I need to clarify with my mother, but my cousin already went to the school, and I think they had given us an assignment to either write down from 1 to 100, or like I had to finish my lunch. Anyway, the bell had gone for playtime. And like it was playtime. Like they weren't letting me go because I wasn't finishing my lunch, but like I'm full. So like, what do you mean by like you're not going to let me play? I'm sorry, taking away play from kids is so insane to me that even the 6-year-old Nubuke, or even 5, actually I might have been 5 years old, even the 5-year-old Nubuke knew that was insane. How can you take away playtime from a child? So I hadn't finished my lunch, and the teacher said she wouldn't let me go and play. So I said, I bet. And this is why I no longer lie. This is by actually being what changed my brain chemistry to make me a good girl. And so I said, hey, can I please go to the bathroom? And they said, aye. So I went to the bathroom, aka the playground. And it was on the swing set, swinging. And I just fell down and hit my head. And I remember crying and saying that they should get me my cousin. My cousin, who is by this time is like 9 years old. By the way, she can't do Tiddly squad. But I'm like, they need to get me my cousin. They need to come and like get me out of the school. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to be here anymore. Anyway, they pulled me out of the school and took me back to Faith. Because the Faith headmistress said that I should come back. They should bring me back. And I did. I finished Faith Montessori. I didn't end up going to the big school because there was another school that opened really close to Faith Montessori, and so I ended up like just transitioning. And so yeah, that is the story of why I no longer lie, because lying got me in trouble in school. So that happened because when you try and put me in a box, I'm very fascinated with the box, and I'm probably going to try and discover what the box is and how I can escape the box. Because another school that I went to, University Primary School, I went to this school after class 3, and I went to the school because it was in my neighborhood, and I used to go to like an international school like far away from my house. So I'd wake up early, I'd go to the international school, and all the kids in my neighborhood went to this school in my neighborhood. And at a point in time I was just like, I'm so sorry, like I don't understand any of the stories that these people are telling. Like my best friends are telling stories and I don't even know who they're talking about because I don't go to their school. So I went to my mommy one day and I said, hey mommy, please can I go to this school that's in our neighborhood? And my mom was like, yes. I swear I've never seen her agree to something so fast in my life. Come to find out, this neighborhood school, I think it was significantly discounted because it was a primary school of like the university organization she was living in. So she was just paying a bunch of money. So imagine her joy when her child comes and says, hey mom, by the way, this school fees that you're paying for this expensive school, I don't want to go there. Like my friends are not there. I don't want to go there. I might have to cut out some of this part because it's sounding very DB. I ended up going to this school, and I remember one of the things that fascinated me the most was that they caned people. Do you know what it means to cane? As in they lashed people. Already, I feel like spanking, like I got spanked like a handful of times in my lifetime. So the concept of hitting a child with a stick was so baffling to me. I remember one time they caned me. They lash you. That's like, you know when the Bible says like whips, like when they talk about whips. This one is like a long stick like this. In fact, very good. It's like this and it's hard and it's brown. Very good. And they used to sell this in the store next to my school. I need to understand how crazy this is. What do you mean they used to sell sticks that they hit their kids with? Like, as in people's jobs are to make sticks that they used to hit kids. That is crazy. I'm sorry, that is crazy to me. So of course I go to this school and they're hitting people, and I don't think my mom realized that they caned people till I was in the school, and she was like, oh crap. And I'll tell you what my mom did and what tried to do. Oh, love that lady. She really tried her best. Anyway, so I go to the school and they caned me for the first time. I was so fascinated, I didn't cry. I just remember going home, and as the neighbors would pass, I raised my dress up and I showed them the lines on my bum because they'd hit me with a stick so hard that I got marks on my skin. I'm sorry, do you realize how crazy that is to hit a child so much that there's marks on their skin? I'm sorry, I cannot get over the fact that they sold sticks. Somebody's job was to make sticks that they used to hit children. Do you know that in my lifetime, I saved some of my lunch money to buy a cane before? I bought a cane. Me, I bought a cane because I thought it was so fascinating that there was a cane. That people bought canes, so I bought a cane before. Not because I was going to hit anybody, just because I wanted to see the tool that they were using to hit me. I just wanted to wield the power by holding such a device. So crazy. I mean, there's so many things that I find utterly insane. And
let me give you an example.
Tell me.
In most Ghanaian schools,
Yeah.
the children are made to buy their own sticks, their own canes to bring to school so that child lash them with it.
I'm sorry, why did I just find out that in most Ghanaian schools, kids are made to buy their own canes to bring to the schools to the teachers to hit them? So you can
If
imagine.
you don't bring it, they'll beat you.
And if you don't bring it, they'll beat you for that. Okay, so you can imagine my mom, who doesn't hit me with a stick. If anything, I feel like maybe I got hit maybe 10 times in my life, maybe 15, a span. So it's not like consistent when they are beating you till you're sobbing. Like, bah, bah. And so imagine her shock and her horror to come to a school where, you know, they are hitting kids. And I think there was a law around, or there is a law in Ghana, I don't know. There was some consensus by some authority that said that this is corporal punishment. It's antiquated, it's old, and we don't do this anymore. So you can imagine my mom forming a PTA or a like stopping caning kids association, and like every single PTA meeting she's bringing up, you guys need to stop hitting kids. So they did stop hitting kids. A kid, me with the stick, and I don't know if that was 10 times worse. That like I still saw them hitting kids around me. It was just so crazy until there was one day, and I'm gonna call this man out because I hate him till this day, and I can't believe he has my same last name, Mr. Amwa. There was some one time I didn't even do diddly squat. I hate this man. If you're watching this, I hate you. I hate you. I never hate anybody in my life, but you, this man, I remember you and I hate you. There was this one time in class 6, and there was this guy called Fidel. Fidel was singing or drumming. It was either Fidel or Elikem. I'm so sorry if it wasn't one of you. It was one of you, actually. I just don't know which one. So Fidel or Elikem, one of you is getting the shots today. And so Fidel or Elikem, one of them was like drumming on the table. And I got up and I went to go tell him, because Mr. Amwa was the teacher. And I went to go tell Mr. Amwa that, hey, Mr. Amwa, like Elikem or Fidel is drumming on the table. And he ignored me, like he didn't say a thing. So I said, okay, cool. Let me just go sit down. All I know is this man turned around, walked up to me, I think was my table, and hit me with a stick. Now what did I do? Mr. Amwa till today, come to the front. What did I do? For telling I got hit? That's crazy. That's crazy. So, I mean, there's definitely so many parts of Ghanaian culture that I do not understand, like lashing and caning. It's insane. So, I mean, growing up in Ghana, there's been parts of Ghana that I've understood. There's been parts of Ghana that I've realized I was sheltered from because of where I grew up. And I think that the older that I got, the more I was exposed to this on like a global level. So Ghana, yes, there were so many experiences that baffled me. But when I went outside to places like America, I was even more confused. Because then it feels, a lot of times, it feels like you don't fit in anywhere. I'll tell you. With that good old little racist story. And I didn't have the vocabulary for this at the time, but now I know it was racism. Growing up, I didn't mind if I was the only black person in a lot of spaces. Because even the white people that I knew growing up, like my aunties and stuff, they would be the only white people within like a sea of black people. So I have an auntie, she's married to a black man, all her best friends are black. Like, do you understand? So she's like the only white person. It didn't occur to me for like 1 second that like she was different. Like, I don't know, like she just exists as her entity. It's not weird. So I didn't mind being in a lot of spaces where I was the only black person, especially if I'm going to America, I'm going to England. Of course I'm gonna be the only black person in some of the spaces that I go into. Those aren't homogeneous societies where when you look around everybody's black. Sometimes when you look around they're mixed, sometimes you only see white people. So I went to this summer camp in America. Issue 1, I didn't know was an issue. They put me in a cabin and I was the only black person. And I remember them having a conversation with the adults to say, hey, like, I hope Nubuke is fine. Like, I hope she won't feel kind of weird that she's like the only black person in this space. And so they came to ask me, oh, hey, like, am I okay that I'm the only black, like, they said I'm okay with being in this cabin. I was like, yeah, like, I'm fine with being in this cabin. I was looking around like, what's wrong with the cabin? Yeah, I'm good with being in the cabin. It's a cool cabin. And they're like, okay, cool. I was like, okay, cool. In that very cabin was a girl called Sydney. And I didn't know why she didn't like me. But she was very mean and very off. And she would talk to all the girls. She wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't come and sit on my bed. So I knew that something was a little bit wrong with C. And there was this one time, it all came out now. But there was this one time, C's like, we're talking about moths, I think, in the cabin. And guys, these are 10-year-olds, by the way. 10 years old. And we were sitting together as like a cabin and we were bonding. I think we were having like cubby nights or something like that. We were talking about our favorite animals and Cindy goes, I don't like the black moths. And we're talking about moths and Cindy's like, I don't like the black moths. I only like the white moths because the white moths are pretty and the black moths are ugly. And you know, I'm listening to Cindy and I'm also nodding my head, yeah. And I too don't like the black moths. I also think that the white moths are also pretty. Sorry, there's glitter on the white moths. Of course I'm gonna like the white moths better than the black moths. But I remember the guidance counselor catching on the fact that this girl, she's kind of weird, telling her, no, you know, all moths are like equal. I'm sorry. Now that I think about it, that lady too, there's something wrong there. Because why would that be the chance for you to tell us that all moths are equal? That's crazy. And she goes, no, you know, Cindy, that's wrong. You know, like all moths are equal. They're like, you know, like, no, Cindy, like you, like they're all the same. Like black moths are not like more ugly than white moths. And I'm like kind of nodding my head, like, yeah, Cindy, like, but I don't know what's going on. So like, but I'm like, I also kind of like the white moths, so I don't understand why we have to like the black moths. But like, I was like, damn, like now that I reflect, Cindy actually didn't like me. She was so mean to me. She was so mean to me, and the confirmation of her being mean was clearly saying in animal form that she liked the white moths because they were prettier than the black moths, and the black moths are ugly and disgusting, and I didn't pick up on it. Cool. Fast forward to me adulting and realizing that some of these things are microaggressions, but I didn't pick up on them. I just thought, makes sense. So I went to stay with a host family in Spain, and I was so excited to start speaking Spanish, and my host mother goes, oh, like, what's your name? I'm like, Nubuke, and she's trying to pronounce Nubuke. You know what? Do you want a Spanish name? I said, yes, I do want a Spanish name. I'm in Spain. And she's like, Carmen. Carmen it is. Carmen Sofia was my name, everybody. Carmen, breakfast ready. Carmen, like, we're going out. Carmen this, Carmen this. And I'm loving my name as Carmen. I get back home to Ghana and I tell my mommy, yeah. And my host mother was calling me Carmen. And my mom's like, what? But mom's upset. Because why is this white lady across the world refusing to pronounce my name and deciding that it is so difficult? Nubukeo. If you can say biblioteca, you can say Nubuke. If you can say hermana, you can say Nubuke. Like, it's really not that hard. And again, these are things that I didn't pick up on because I'm growing up in Ghana. Like, I'm growing up in a space that I cannot fathom you treating somebody so differently because they exist in different skin. Now, I'm also saying this from the perspective of privilege because as much as I fall into the category, I don't know how you guys grade color systems and skin systems where you are, but I'm not light skinned. Growing up, it's only now that I'm hearing medium skin and all of these things, but it was light skin, dark skin. And best believe when the light skin people were like, hey, team light skin, it wasn't part of the equation. So I fell into the category of dark skin, but obviously I'm not the darkest shade of black. I can't remember crazy discourse of my skin color and my identity of being black, and things just existed in the spaces that I was in. So it was only when I grew older that I realized, they didn't give me an English name. I don't have an English name. It was only in trying to explain to people that my name was Nubuke and they'll say, oh, do you have a Christian name? And I'm just like, no. Should I have a Christian name? Should I have an English name? It was only when Nubuke was such a hard concept for people to understand, and I also have a long middle name, so there's no lick of English words in my name. So I didn't fall into the category of like darker skin. So I didn't get the, oh, you're too black jokes, or like I didn't get the dark skin. Nobody's comparing me to the actual color black. And then you now add to the fact that I never had to be black. I just existed. I exist in the bubble of my family. I exist in the bubble of my friendship. I just exist. So then, fast forward to going to university. And when I tell you that I struggled in uni so much, I struggled in uni. Like, I've never had to confront my blackness ever before in my life. And it was the biggest mind bleep. Because all of a sudden, I wasn't just black, but I was African. Oh my God, I'll tell you two things that happened because the second one was so traumatic. Oh my God. I just want to give myself in uni a hug because first of all, I was the only black person in my whole university drama class. Like my whole drama year, the whole year that was admitted into the school, they admitted 2 black people. And guess who decided to drop out of university? The other black guy. By the way, I'm never forgiving you for that, by the way, for leaving me as the only black person. That is crazy to me. So I'm in my uni again. These are not things that crossed my mind. So when I was picking universities, and I was picking the university that I went to, it didn't occur to me to look for universities with black people. Because you know how people look for their unis and they're like, okay, so what's the social life like? What's like the people on campus? How many black people are there? I didn't even realize that was a question I should have had in like my list of requirements for universities. Because I thought, even if I enter a situation where I'm the only black person, like, it's okay, I'm a human being. Like, I expect to be treated. Hey! Let's hold back. So I'm in uni. This guy drops out of the school. I'm the only black person there. Tell me why. And drama people are very, like, oh, God. If you study drama, you know how extra, like, drama students and drama teachers can be. So I'm in my drama class, and they bring, one of the exercises is they bring fake noses as like an extension of your body. And we had a substitute teacher that like came in and he brought noses into the class. And I remember him pulling the bag of noses out and they were all white noses. And I was like, wait. Because as you were supposed to run around class and they'll tell you to move in a certain way, he would come behind you and put the noses on you. And I just remember thinking, oh my God. Please let the ground open up and swallow me because oh my God, he's gonna put this nose on me and I'm black and I'm wearing a white nose and I'm in class with all my white people and then like I have to like my white classmates and I have to pretend as if this is an extension of my body, but like, why wouldn't he think about me? And why am I in this conversation? Why am I thinking about this, overthinking every single thing? Because he wasn't thinking about me. And he didn't for 1 second think to himself, what if there's a black person in the class? Oh my God. And I remember trying to explain this to somebody after, and they were like, oh, why didn't you make it like as if the white nose is an extension of your body? And you know, like, and I was just like, no. At that moment, all I wanted was for the ground to open up and swallow me, because how embarrassing. It was such a bizarre situation, and oh my God, I just need to hug myself, because I'm thinking of another instance where there was a teacher that came to the classroom and she was talking about like clown makeup and how back in the days they used to do makeup and they'll put makeup on your face. And so she goes, that yeah, like she's talking about white makeup that people put on their face, and she said something along the lines of like, obviously, like you would have to think about the implications of that Nubuke, and like she slips it into the conversation. She's talking about it, and she's like, oh, obviously, like it will mean something completely different for you, Nubuke, if you put that on your face. And then she continues the conversation. I'm just thinking in my head, what just happened? Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, she said that. Oh my God, like, and everybody's kind of like nodding their heads, and it's kind of awkward, and it was just so weird. Oh my God. Why didn't anybody say that studying a subject as intimate as drama required you to be around people who looked like you and understood you? So you can see how we're digging the whole feather. We're digging the whole feather. I'm not fitting in Ghana. I'm not fitting in outside. I don't understand a lot of the things in Ghana. I'm not understanding a lot of the things outside. And I was just like, oh my God. And then of course, another thing that used to piss me off when I was in university, something will come up in the conversation and I'm asking my uni mates, like, okay, so what's this? Who sang the song David Bowie? And I'm just like, and then they're like, you don't know who David Bowie is? And they'll do it all the time. And I'll be like, no, guys, reminder, hello, I grew up in Ghana. Oh, you don't know what that is? Nabuke! Nabuke! Oh, you don't know what that is? Nabuke doesn't know what that is. Nabuke doesn't know what Dorito is. Nabuke doesn't know what a seagull is. And I'm like, yes, guys, I grew up in Ghana. How many times do I have to spell it out for you that I grew up in a culture that is completely... Don't tell me you don't know what that is, Nabuke. Hey. And then another thing that pissed me off was, just because you know the song Africa doesn't actually mean you know anything about Africa. And I hated that song because it was everybody in my university's favorite song. And there's a line in that stupid song that I hate so much that goes like, there won't be rain in Africa. And I'm just like, what? This is so stupid. This is so stupid. There's rain in guys, I come from Ghana. We have rain here. It snows sometimes in South Africa. Like it snows, it gets cold. It's like it's a multi-climate space. Like there's so many things that go on the continent. And I'm just like, wow. I cannot believe I have to factor in being different as I'm growing up. Not to mention the comments about how I'm going to marry white people. If I tell you how many times in my life I've heard that. And it's such a weird statement, by the way, that I've heard multiple times when I'm growing up. Oh, I can't wait to see who you marry. Hey, make sure you bring your husband so that he can come and see me. I think you marry a white man. Oh, you marry a white man. You like white men, don't you? And I'm just like... I like everybody. I'm an equal opportunist. What do you want from me? What do you want? How are we putting people in a box from like 10-5 conversations? And so I don't know. I know this has been a ramble. I know this has been me complaining about being too something. But I don't even know if the phrase is too African, since clearly there's so much about Ghanaian culture that I am missing out on. So can I even be classified as Ghanaian? Since they say I don't know cantata, and Euphoria. So apparently that one, so I'm not inside. Aye. So I know this isn't an experience that a lot of people can relate to, but it's my experience of, I guess, having people assume that you belong one place, and even that place, they don't even claim you. And the place that you're coming from too doesn't claim you. And I don't know, people always ask me where my confidence comes from, and honestly, each time you ask me that question, I'm going to have a different answer. But I think one of the reasons I'm so confident, or how I built my confidence, is really by not fitting in any of the spaces that I'm in. There might be people that are watching this that also can relate to all of these things, because guess what? An amalgamation of my experiences is what makes me kind of me. And I wanted to paint the sides of showing you, like, okay, so this is why my life looks like this one way and my life looks like this the other way. So please, in the comment section down below, share some of your crazy stories of, like, what are some of the wild things people tell you that you should be. But for the Ghanaians who feel like they grew up in Ghana but they didn't fit in because maybe they had different hobbies, they had different interests, how did you manage? Like, tell me some stories, tell me about your experiences. And also for the people who grew up outside of Ghana, where you grew up in this culture but you feel so intrinsically connected to Ghana, but at the same time it's so different. Like, every day December rolls around, they say that the in it girls are there and go. So if you're an in it girl, or yeah, what's the new name for the Nigerian people? IGGB. I just got back. IGGB.
Exotics.
If somebody say exotic, whoa.
You not heard that?
That's all.
Yeah, they got the girls who come back in December. Exotics.
Apparently, the girls who come back in December are the exotics. So whatever name or category you fall into, please let me know your experience. Tell me I'm not crazy.
It feels like I